Not announcing the engagement again.
Nah.
Panthers have waived 2023 third-round pick DJ Johnson.
All right, we got issues. Hold on.
The guy that played 24 snaps in this past Sunday's game as opposed to Princely Umamuelen's 12. So yes, DJ Johnson has been waived by the Carolina Panthers.
We've got some issues. He played 24 snaps this past week. Is that what you said?
Yes, played 24 defensive snaps. I can't remember how many special teams, but he had 24 defensive snaps on Sunday to Princely Umamuelen's 12. Nick Scorton played a ton, by the way.
Okay, here's my initial reaction, and keep in mind that is the nature of breaking news. That was my first time hearing it.
Also, the team waived/injured DeLevon Campbell.
Okay, the wide receiver who was active, I want to say for the first time.
He played in the first few games.
Okay. Here's my initial reaction. My first time I heard it. This screams disconnect between the defensive coaching staff and the powers that be, whether that be Dan Morgan, whether that be Dave Canales. When a player is playing above in the depth chart, in snap counts, like in actual actions, right? A player is getting more snaps than somebody like Princely Umamuelen, who was a priority third-round pick for the Carolina Panthers and has shown some pop in the moments he's gotten to play, which haven't been plentiful. When DJ Johnson is playing over that and then is released that week, that strikes me as, I told you not to play him.
Yes.
That's
100% what that is.
And now I'm going to take it out of your hands. You're going to have to play these young guys because DJ Johnson isn't going to be there because we're cutting him. It screams Dave Canales. What was it? After the first game, after game number 1 was in the post, or may not have been post game, may have been the Monday after. He was saying like, "Listen, I was pushing for the young guys to play, and I'm going." And we did a whole segment on it. We talked about it here on the show where I'm going like, "You don't push as the head coach. You don't suggest. You don't nudge. You make commands, and they get done.
Yeah, you dictate.
You're the head coach. You mandate, dictate, command, whatever you want to call it. It's not, well, I was hinting that maybe we should. It's like, no, you do it. And now you're a month in, and there's still, by the way, DJ Johnson, aside from all, if he was producing, none of this would be an issue. He kept being given opportunities while a player like Princely Umamuelen hasn't been. And it's like, well, we want to see what we have there. He has a sack. We don't have but 2 of them all year.
Yeah.
He has 1 of them. And you're playing DJ Johnson, who's getting washed out on run plays, who's not getting pressures as a pass rusher. And this is like, all right, your actions said you want to play DJ Johnson. Our actions are now going to say in response, you can't play DJ Johnson. And to be completely honest, that's not fair to the players, right? That's not fair to the players where they have to be used. Their like active status within the team has to be used as a trading chip amongst coaches that are not seeing eye to eye. I understand it's probably frustrating for Evero, the defensive coordinator. And I'm reading tea leaves here. None of this, like, this is just an instant reaction into what I think the social nature is playing out here. But it's not like one thing. There are multiple dots we're connecting here. It's probably frustrating for Evero. Evero is not Dave Canales' guy. He was the defensive coordinator when Canales showed up, and he was retained. And Evero, 2 years ago, was kind of a hot name for head coaching jobs. Mm-hmm. And he probably thought he was going to be the king of his kingdom sometime, right? He was going to be the king of his own castle by now. And instead, he is a lieutenant in Dave Canales' kingdom right now. And I would get it completely if he's saying, like, play the young guy, and you're going, the old guy is better. But guess what? You're the defensive coordinator. You're not the head coach or the GM or whoever's telling you. There is a strict hierarchy in coaching staffs. DJ Johnson being cut, I mean, if you were surprised by how he played, like if they watched film, oh, wow, those 24 snaps weren't good, we better cut him. I'm asking you what you saw before those 24 snaps that made you think it was going to be better than that. Because it's not – It was a surprise in how many snaps he played. It was not a surprise in how he played because that's
not at all.
That's how he's played since arriving in Carolina. And There's one more piece here. What was his role in the trade? Like, what was his pick? One that I believe he came over. Was it the Bryce trade?
So he was drafted in 2023, where the Panthers used a third and a fourth round pick to move up higher in the third round to take DJ Johnson.
Well, that worked out.
Yeah. So now if you look at the 2023 draft for the Carolina Panthers, you have Bryce Young. You also have Chandler Zavala was part of that draft class as well. So all right, here's the draft class of 2023. Bryce Young, first-round pick. Jonathan Mingo, whom you've traded away. Third-round pick, DJ Johnson, whom you've now have waived. Round 4 pick, Chandler Zavala, who's now starting for an injured Robert Hunt. And then 5th-round pick, Jamie Robinson, a safety out of Florida State, who hasn't been on the team in a couple years. So you literally only have 2 players from your 2023 draft on your roster.
Bad draft sets you way back.
Yep.
Bad draft sets you way back. And that's why you need a mix of like singles and swinging for home runs. Because you just need guys that you can play that are on rookie contracts to make the whole rest of your roster work. It doesn't have to be, everyone's a Pro Bowler, everyone's an All-Pro. Sometimes you just need some dudes that you can put out there for 24 snaps on defense and not feel like you have to cut them by Tuesday. That's the low bar to jump over. By the way, the thing that I was that I had pop into my head, and I set you up to not have the answer because the answer was
in your head.
Yeah, well, it was a different conversation.
Okay.
Brian Burns is kind of balling for the Giants.
Go figure.
And the draft capital, it was Nick Scorton, not DJ Johnson. The draft capital, according to Edgar Salmingo, who has done some reporting, and he's formerly FNZ, Fox Sports, bunch of stuff. The draft capital from the Brian Burns trade has turned into the trade up for Jonathan Brooks.
Yep.
And Nick Scorton. Nick Scorton better be like a 7 or 8 sack guy pretty quick.
Yeah, for
because
real.
Brian Burns already, he's leading the league in sacks right now. He's tied for number 1 in sacks. Granted, he's working with a defensive line that takes a lot of pressure off of him.
It's a stacked defensive front.
But those here's where the Panthers are struggling. And now we'll get to the rest of the stuff that we had scheduled in a minute. Here's where the Panthers are struggling. It is death by 1,000 cuts. It is this bad decision and that bad decision and that bad decision, and then now you're behind. It's no different than a football game, right? On the opening play, your kicker kicks it out of bounds. Is that a really bad mistake? No. All right, well, they get the ball at the 40. Okay, now you have your defensive lineman jumps off. All right, now is that really a horrible mistake? No, but okay, but it's 1st and 5. Now they take a shot downfield because it's 1st and 5 and they have a short against the sticks. And oh, look at that. Your defensive back's in pretty good position but not great position. They make the catch. All right, now they're in field goal range. And it's just those little – are any of them individually a bad, horrendous mistake? No, but when you add them all up, you're going to give up points and you're going to be down by a bunch and you're going to lose like you did to the Patriots. If you look at the last decade of Panthers, right? If you look at the last decade of Panthers, it's just little mistakes over and over and over again. Oh, this 4th-round pick didn't stay on the roster for the entirety of his rookie contract, and because of that, they had to go over the top, right? What was DJ Johnson, a 3rd rounder? Is that
third rounder?
3rd-round pick, DJ Johnson. That's not a great 3rd-round pick edge rusher because he's not getting pressure. Maybe you had to go spend on Jadeveon Clowney. Now that money couldn't be spent to keep Brian Burns. Now Brian Burns is gone, and you missed on some offensive linemen, so you got to take the Brian Burns money. You got to spend it on offensive line, which means you're not going to have the money to go get a linebacker, and it just builds and builds and builds and builds until you're where you are now. And now it's not just one great decision to fix it, right? The only way to fix it is to do exactly what you did in reverse. Go pick a good 4th-round pick that you can play 50% of the snaps. And go take a 2nd-round pick that plays like a later half of the 1st-round pick. And go find a free agent who, has something left in the tank. but is willing to play close to home, right? And it's you gotta get it back one step at a time. But you look at it like okay, you didn't sign Brian Burns to a long-term extension after his third year. Not a huge mistake. You would have wished it got done, right? Then you go into the the next offseason, right after his fourth year. Now he's holding out, right? Or actually, that was after his third year he was holding out, right? He wanted the contract extension. Now he's holding out. Now you're burning bridges. Now there's animosity. Now you got the front office digging their heels in. Maybe David Tepper getting involved. Now, okay, it's a lost cause. You have to trade him. You trade him for the scraps. You trade up to get a running back. Guess what? That running back was dealing with a knee injury when you drafted him in Jonathan Brooks. Turns out that was a bad decision. He has another knee injury. Will he ever get back? Who knows? So now you have the entirety of the Brian Burns trade being on Nick Scorton, a second-round pick, has to perform like it was worth it. And guess what you should be expecting a second-round pick to do? Perform a little bit better than a second-round pick. Positive value, right? Just be something good there. It's. I feel like I'm like a responsible gambling ad right now.
You might be.
Right? If you lose $5 on a bet, and you lose $5 on a bet, and you lose $5 on a bet, and you lose $5 on a bet, don't take $5 and try to go hit the parlay for 30 to get all your money back.
Don't chase your losses.
It feels like what the Panthers are doing and did. Right? It's like, all right, we lost a little value. All right, we lost a little value. You know what? Let's trade up for the quarterback. Get it all back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, then it looks like we lost DJ Moore, and you know what? Let's go get the wide receiver in the first round. And it's just like you're swinging for the fences to get your losses back when just give me one step in the right direction.
Speaking of this year's Panthers team and looking at this transaction, again, for those who may have missed it, DJ Johnson, the outside linebacker for the Panthers, was released. He started this past Sunday. To me, this screams of two things. One, like we mentioned earlier, Evero, we told you to play the young guys. Now you have no choice. But second of all, you're sending a message to everyone in the locker room being like, hey, this guy just started for us this past game. Now he's no longer here because we didn't play well enough. And if that's what we have to do, we'll start sending guys away. Now he's easily expendable because he's not his contract and all that kind of stuff. He's still on a rookie deal. It's easily expendable. But now you're starting to send a message to the locker room that, hey, you know that guy that you're sitting next to? He ain't here no more.
I would also throw it, as far as like nonverbal communication, it kind of tells the players we don't know what the heck we're doing.
Maybe. This
past week, we thought he was the best option at edge rusher. We started him. By Tuesday, we know he's not even good enough to be on the roster. There's some nonverbal communication to agents to like, oh, they're really scrambling there in Carolina.
We're gonna cut the guy at a position where we already have injuries with DJ Wanham and Pat Jones, but you need to get out of here too.
There's a few teams that are really scrambling in the NFL right now.
Oh yeah,
and
Panthers are one.
The Panthers are maybe the leader of that group, but goodness gracious.